Hey, what's going on? My name is Coach Lee Hopkins. My pronouns are he, him, his, and you're listening to the Patterns of Possibility podcast. This is a podcast dedicated to helping you replace harmful patterns with new possibilities. And each episode will explore topics that inspire you to be yourself, live your truth, and make lasting connections. In this episode, we're going to talk about masking, specifically taking it off, like throwing it to the wind. I'm going to let everybody see exactly who I am, and I don't give a fuck. That kind of thing where you just take it off. If you're autistic and you've hit that point and you want to stop masking, well, I'm going to caution you about when to take that mask off and how much you show to other people. Are you ready? Let's go. All right, so a couple of years ago, I reached this point where I didn't care. A spiritual awakening, if you will. I started to see a lot of patterns a lot clearer than I used to, and a lot of patterns of speech and behavior and people. And I was like, oh, this is fake. This is fake, and I've been pretending. I've been trying to play this game with y'all. I don't want to play anymore. I'm going to rip my mask off. I'm going to show you exactly what's underneath. I'm going to say what I feel. I'm going to say what I think. I'm going to do what I want to do. And there's nothing you can do to stop me because you are sleeping. You're sleeping. You wear that mask. I'm not. I'm free. I'm free as a bird. I'm going to take it off. I'm going to show you everything underneath. Boom. Here I am. Bow. How you like me now? I got to tell you, a lot of people didn't like that. And if you reach a point where you're feeling frustrated in your relationships and you want to take off this mask, you realize that you're pretending. I want you to think about this, because after I took that mask off, I realized that I needed to put it back on. I needed to put it back on to function, because everybody else is masking, and most of the time around people who mask. Now, so let's talk about a little bit about what masking is, because masking might be different for you. And I like to just kind of set what I'm talking about here when it comes to masking. And when I say masking, I mean following societal norms, or what I believe societal norms are. Like in my last podcast, when I talked about those 5 phrases that people say to communicate friendship, but they're not really followed up by action. So I think when I hear masking, I think about how you do what is expected, and that expectation comes from thin air, or what other people are doing, or what you think other people are doing. And so that's when I think about when I say masking. It is pretending. And as I got closer, so in my spiritual awakening, or recognizing my sense of self, I got closer to realizing that the things that I were doing didn't match up to how I really felt inside. And I didn't want to do that anymore. I didn't want to pretend like things were okay. I didn't want to pretend like I liked people. I didn't want to pretend like I wasn't frustrated with situations that really upset me. I didn't want to pretend that I wasn't sad. I wanted to hold people accountable for the words that they'd said to me. I wanted to hold people accountable for the actions that they didn't take, that they said they would take, things like that. And so that's what unmasking looked like to me. And I realized that I had to put that mask back on in certain settings, because everyone can't handle what's underneath that mask. People can't operate that way. There's a lot of, when I think about taking a mask off too, I think about how the visualization of you actually having a mask on your face, like let's say Majora's Mask, you have that on your face, or just covering your whole face, and you just pull it off, and your face becomes just this beaming bright light. It's everything. And some people can stand that light. Some people can look directly at it. Some people enjoy looking directly at it, but other people are blinded, and they'll go and they'll run away. Or they'll attack you because you shine this light in their face and it hurts them so much. And so I realized taking off the mask, not pretending, creates those kind of experiences for me, because people can't handle how you feel. They just can't. They're not, many people aren't equipped for it. Many people don't want to know. They can't handle their own feelings. That's why they mask in the first place, right? So if you're at this point where you want to take off your mask, I want to not tell you to keep it fused to your face. I don't want to tell you to just keep it on forever, because that's not going to create those genuine connections that you're looking for. You do have to unmask. You do have to show yourself authentically, but only to certain people. Only certain people will get this experience of unmasking. They will understand. They will be able to look at the light in your face, and they will be able to connect with you. And they will also want to unmask. So it's not about unmasking for everyone. And you're at this point where you're frustrated and you really just don't want to pretend anymore. What happened to me, or what I decided to do, was I fully unmasked, and I found that I pushed a lot of people away, or people ran away from me because I didn't want to deal with their fakeness. And I think that it's a necessary step to go through. It's a necessary step to go through, because after dealing with hiding yourself, you've been suffocating for many years, decades. You've been suffocating yourself. And it's a relief to take it off, even if people leave, even if people run away, even if people want to attack you. You're like, I just got to keep this off. I need to breathe. But you'll find that there are very few people that you can actually connect with. I don't want to say connect. Connect is not the right word here, but interact with or commingle, because they're wearing their mask. So what I've discovered is that I have to put that back on, to put the mask right back on, but only in certain situations and for certain people. And it was exhausting to wear that mask. It's suffocating. After you've taken it off, you're going to feel like, oh my God, this is the best thing. I can breathe fresh air. Whew. I know everyone put this back on. But then you realize that you have to in certain situations. And those certain situations can be like professional atmospheres where it's not appropriate to share your deepest, darkest feelings or your deepest joys, because some people there just can't handle it. They're not interested in it. And you're going to find yourself disappointed when you open up to those people. So there's a method in which you open up to only certain people. But who are those people? Because you don't want to, going back to that visual analogy, you don't want to walk around with this mask on it and fully put it off, blind people, and say, oops, I'm sorry, that wasn't it. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. You really want to be able to have people peek underneath. So you have this mask on, and you just want to raise it up just a little bit over your chin so they can see some of the light, and then you're supposed to watch them to see how they respond to that light. Do they draw themselves towards it? And that would look like curiosity. That would look like them asking a little bit more about who you are and what's underneath. Or do they see that light and they get blinded? They're like, ouch, ew, that hurts. I don't like it. And you can tell when they don't ask any more about it. You can notice when they don't ask any more about it, or they turn away. They change the topic. They change the subject. They're not interested in seeing what's underneath. Good on you, because you haven't shown them anymore, and you haven't quite frightened them away either. Let's say if they're a coworker, let's say if there's someone that you need their support with, so you don't want to quite frighten them away. And then the third kind of response is where they really just say, turn that out. They change their tone and they start fighting with you. Turn it out. I don't want to hear anything more about it. And they start attacking you and they insult you. And I like to use this example. If you're unmasking, you're talking about something that's very important and interesting and fun and exciting to you. That's an example of the way you can unmask, right? You share something that you haven't shared with other people, and you start sharing it with other people. That's a bit of unmasking. Give them a little peek underneath, and you watch how they respond. So maybe you like video games. Maybe you are really, you collect buttons. Maybe you collect something that feels like it's embarrassing that other people don't care about or not interested in. Maybe you play lots of board games and you're enthusiast and you've always been made fun of for this and you're afraid to show. So you hide that underneath that mask. But when you unmask, you want to just give them a little peek and watch how they respond. And this is how you're going to connect with people. You're not going to rip it off so that everybody can see it, because it's not safe for you. And it might hurt other people unintentionally. It might ruin some kind of connections that you need, especially work connections or professional connections. People who don't really need to know you that deeply, but they do serve a purpose in your life. Some associates are people like that. So show them a little peek of who you are. Don't trauma dump. Don't info dump. Don't love bomb. Don't give them too much of who you are. You just want to show them just a little bit. And you want to watch how they're going to respond to you. Don't rip that mask all the way off. It might destroy some of these kind of relationships that you need to function. Okay? Everybody can't know you deeply. Everybody doesn't want to know you deeply. Everybody doesn't have the capacity to know you deeply. And I want you to put the shoe on the other foot when I say this and talk about this. If somebody's ever come to you and they've trauma dumped on you and you're like, oh man, I don't know how I got into this situation, but they're telling me way too much. I never want to talk to this person again. We just met and they're telling me about how their cat died and they got kicked out of their house because they couldn't pay their rent and they have nowhere to go. Like, oops, oops, that's a little too much information for me. Or if they're info dumping on you. Info dumping is something notorious for us in the autistic community. We love something so much and we just share all the details about all the things. Your favorite show. You want to talk about the actors and the actresses. You want to talk about behind the scenes. You want to talk about the showrunners. You want to talk about the costume design. You want to talk about the producers. You want to talk about how long it took to get it into production and the things behind the scenes. You want to talk about how you own all the box sets and the action figures to it. And the person who is listening to you doesn't want that information, doesn't understand that information, and doesn't have the same feeling about that information as you do. So if you felt that, you might want to just run away. You might just want to move away from them. So you have to be careful about that. And then love bombing. Of course, love bombing is this thing where you just give them all your time and energy and you show how much you value them. And it's overwhelming. It's overwhelming to just have so much attention poured into other people or poured into you. Because what we do as humans, this natural human thing, we start thinking, do they have anything else? Am I the only person that they know? Am I responsible for them? Why are they giving me so much? I don't have time for them. I have other things happening in my life, and then that will push other people away. So that's another form of unmasking and showing too much of your light. But there are some people out there, when you start to connect with them, they will want to know your trauma. They will understand you. They will appreciate it. And it's not way too much. It's not overwhelming. They will want to know the things that are interesting, exciting, and fun to you to the level and the depth that you know, because they also like those things. So you're not info dumping on people who just can't handle it. And you're not love bombing people who don't have the time and space to show it back to you, who don't appreciate it the way you hope that they would appreciate. So don't unmask. Don't show too much. Don't show too much right away. You want to give them a little peek underneath to show them who you are, and you're going to watch their response. Hey, Patterns of Possibility fam. I want to thank you so much for all of your positive feedback for the Supportive Connections course. The outpouring is just ridiculous. If you haven't heard about this, I dropped it a couple of months ago on my website, patternsofpossibility.com. Just click resources to get instant access to the free Supportive Connections course. You're going to learn exactly what you need to create healthy, supportive relationships. Because a lot of us, if you grew up in a household which you didn't see healthy connections, you were trying to figure it out all by yourself, you might not know what it looks like to be in a healthy relationship. This is for you if you find it difficult to communicate your own needs, or you feel like you always have unmet expectations in your relationships. If you struggle struggle to recognize toxic behaviors, or you keep tolerating disrespect, manipulation, or control, this is for you. And it's free. Go to patternsofpossibility.com, click on resources, and get instant access to this free supportive connections course today. Now let's do the listener letters. If you have a question about your family, friends, business, coworkers, anything that goes on with your relationships, you can write me at patternsofpossibility@gmail.com. So I am the friend that will show up with a drill, ready to put together some furniture, rent a car and pick someone at the airport at 3 a.m., make tons of food for people, stay up late comforting someone who's gone through something, take time off of work to pick up a birthday present for someone. Meanwhile, I'm regularly excluded from fun stuff, and people don't have space for me or my problems. I feel like I'm a burden, and yet I'm constantly inconveniencing myself to be there for others. I just want to feel included and listened to, and like people have room for me. This is a short rant, I suppose, or short, release of their thoughts and ideas. And I see this person here on the cusp of wanting to unmask and just say, look, y'all suck. You're awful people to me. I do all of these things for you, and by comparison, you don't do much for me. You don't care about me as much as I care about you, and I want to let you know all of my feelings that I've been holding back. I get it too. I've been here. I've been frustrated. I've been feeling that before I started to unmask and I started to share things with people. I stopped wanting to pretend. So here's what I would say to you if you're in this position, is that I think that everybody goes through this. Like, I talk about this in the cycle of loneliness, but when you unmask, and the cycle of loneliness, if you haven't seen this, it's on my YouTube page. I talk about releasing those feelings and how you will return back to the same space with the same kinds of people. You might have a meltdown, you start pushing people away, and you're frustrated with them. You just want to get them out of your life. You blow up your bridges, you burn down the house, whatever it is. You push people away and you're done. You're done with those people. But then you go into a period of isolation. Where you're just like, nobody likes me. I don't understand this. I'm better off being by myself. It's not a big deal. But then something will prompt you to get up and go back out there to find real people. And the something that will prompt you is life happening. You're going to realize that you need people and that you want to be supported by other people. You're going to have life experiences. For me personally, I got sick. I needed help. I had surgery and I had nobody around to help me with that. So I needed to make sure I didn't have those experiences again where I was just alone. And that's another reason why you have to keep your mask on for some things, not all the way off, but people get to know you, but they don't get to know you so deeply. Like, they will get to know you enough to help you, but you don't know each other super duper deep. And that's fine. You need to have those kind of relationships in your life. So back to this, where you're in the cycle of loneliness and you start to go out and meet new people. If you haven't spent time realizing what causes you to mask in the first place, what you're looking for, and how to properly unmask for other people, you are going to find the same kinds of relationships where you do everything you possibly can to create the connection. You'll show up with a drill, ready to put some furniture together. You rent a car to pick someone at the airport at 3 a.m. You'll make tons of food for people. You'll stay up late comforting people who's going through things. You'll make all kinds of concessions for other people, hoping that you'll recreate the relationships, or hoping that you would create a relationship in which they will reciprocate and they will do the same thing. But they're not going to do that. There's something about you that allows people to just take advantage. There's something about you keeping that mask on, pretending like things are okay, that you don't have feelings about this, that you don't have expectations, because you're not saying them to them. You're not saying what your expectations, your desires, your needs, wants are to other people, because you haven't developed that space. You haven't developed that vocabulary to say, this is what I need. You haven't felt comfortable doing that either. You just kind of hid away from people and you went back out into the world doing the same things you did before that got you stuck and frustrated. And we want to break that cycle of loneliness. And if you just completely unmask, it's definitely going to push people away. But people tend to realize that, okay, completely unmasking all the time is exhausting, it's draining, and it's not winning me any friends or winning me any connections. People are just moving away. There's more components to it. And the biggest piece I'd like to share with you is that when you're unmasking, you want to do it a little bit at a time. You want to be intentional about what you share with other people, and you want to watch their responses so that you don't feel like you're giving up too much of yourself. You're showing up, you're hiding how you really feel hurt, how you really feel that people don't want to include you. You feel like people don't listen to you. People don't make room for you, like this person wrote. You don't want to feel like that. You have to start talking about those kind of things. Be intentional about talking those kind of things. That's what comes with unmasking. It's not everything at once. It's little pieces here and there. It's little expressions of who you are, and you're watching how people receive those expressions. And if you want to learn more about this is what I teach in my 12-week coaching course. Go through a whole process of teaching you how to unmask, what to say, setting boundaries, creating relationships that really will change your life. And finally, I appreciate you being a listener. If you got something of value out of this podcast, please share it with other people and leave a 5-star review on your favorite listening app. We'll see you next time. Take care.